Hi there. I am Brenda Tucker-Jeffries, and today I had no intentions of making this video. But for some reason, something is compelling me to do so. So, here goes. September 11th, 2001 is indelibly imprinted on my brain. You see, I was at a management training conference in the Washington, D.C. area that morning. And as I was leaving that conference to find the restroom, I had to walk down this long hallway past the cafeteria. And as I'm trying to get back before I miss anything, I'm rushing. So I'm not really paying attention to what's going on or what's not going on in the cafeteria. But on the way back, I'm stopped in my tracks because you could hear a pin dropping, but it's full of people. So as I'm trying to look around to figure out what's going on, everybody's facing the television. And I look at the television and I see what I thought was this movie where an airplane had flown into a tower. And before I could wrap my mind around this, another airplane had flown into a tower that was next to it. So I said, so what movie is this? And nobody said a word. They turned around and looked at me, but they didn't say a word. So then I said to myself, oh, they're too into this. Let me go back to my conference. So as I went back into the conference room, about 5 minutes after that, there was an announcement made that something terrible had happened in New York. And they were trying to explain it, but everybody was making all this noise. We really couldn't understand. And once they quieted down, we understood that what I had seen on the television in the cafeteria was the footage of what had happened with the planes flying into the tower. So by that time, everybody was filing out of the cafeteria, trying to figure out where to go, what they needed to do, how they could get home, because a lot of people were there from out of town. And I just decided that I just needed to sit down for a minute because I couldn't take it all in. I really didn't understand what was going on, and I just needed to be still. So I did that for, I would say, about an hour. And finally, someone helped me get a taxi to go to my hotel. But my hotel was located in Pentagon City. So in order to get there, we were on I called it the expressway. And as we're approaching where we can see the Pentagon, I'm looking out the window and I see this portion of a plane on fire hanging out of the Pentagon. And I said out loud, what in the world? The taxi cab driver kept driving. He didn't say a word. He took me to my hotel, dropped me off. I went into the hotel, went up to my room, and turned on the television. And that's when I saw the news about the Pentagon and the plane that had flown into the Pentagon. So as I'm trying to wrap my head around this now, every channel that I turn to has the news on. And eventually, the next story that comes up is about the plane that went down in Pennsylvania. So by that time, I'm like really out of it. I'm in trauma. I'm sitting in this hotel room by myself. not really knowing what to do. And one of the individuals that was in the training that lived in another state called me because he was staying in the same hotel that I was staying in. And he said, look, we need to figure out a way to get home because there are, a lot of things are not working. You can't get airplane rides. Rental cars are running out. You got to figure out how you're going to get home. And I said, okay. All right. He said, well, are you ready to leave now? I said, no, I just gotta think for a bit. Because I hadn't even called my family to let them know I was okay because I was still in shock. So after I called home and let everybody know I was okay, I calmed down to the point where I realized what my colleague was trying to tell me, that I needed to find a way to get some transportation to get home. Because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that, if anything was available or what. So I managed to get a cab to take me to Union Station. I had never been in that Union Station before in DC. So once I got in there, of course, it was packed, jam-packed full of people. And it seemed to be no sense of order. I'm sure they had somebody helping you out, but I didn't ever run into anybody that asked me if they could help me because everybody was trying to get out of the way themselves. But I noticed that there was this really long line, and it was more than one line over on one side, and then there was another side that looked almost pretty clear compared to this other side. And so I didn't ask anybody. I just looked around and I determined that, okay, from the signs that were up and for the people that looked like they were disheveled, they were frustrated, they were disappointed, it was because they couldn't get a ticket with their credit card or their check because systems were down and there was nothing to process them. People were going to ATM machines saying that they couldn't get money out of the ATM machine. And so the other side of the room that I was in was taking cash. And I had cash. And several other people had cash. So that line was moving fast. So I got my ticket, went back to the hotel, and I can't even tell you right now what day I was able to leave and come home, because I was just so glad to get out of there that it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to get home. So whatever ticket they gave me was what available. I took the ticket and I knew I was there for at least another 2 days. And then I came home. So I guess I'm saying all this to say that September 11, 2001 was very traumatic for the entire country and other countries as well, just watching it. But it's my belief that any type of terrorism is horrific. But there's one type of terrorism that beats foreign terrorism. That's domestic terrorism. And that's what happened in the United States of America on January 6, 2021. And it is my sincere hope that neither one of those days we will ever have to experience again in life.